Hello, good evening. Welcome. Welcome. My name is Obedako. Welcome. I want to share with you today, take care of your finances as an artisan, as an artisan, as a mechanic, as a mason, as a carpenter, as a seamstress, people in this kind of category who are living in our country. How do you take care of your future, your financial future? Artisans, dressmakers, people who work with their hands technically. Usually, most of them are not that much. You will say they are not that much educated. That's what at least they went to school. Hey, Jama, welcome. They went to school, but the concentration was not on the book. The kind of education that they had, if they had any, was with the training of their hands. So they work with their hands. They could be anything, electrician, could be, or the people that we call artisans. The fact is that they have to take care of their finances. They have to take care of their future. When they compare themselves with their colleagues who are in the so-called former sector, they feel like they are only responsible for themselves, and usually most of them are subsistent or self-engaged. They are self-employed in a way. Even if you're mason and you're employed in a company, usually you're employed based on project. Most of them are employed based on project, and when the project is over, inflow is over, you have to go and look for another one. So that's the kind of life that artisans have. You are virtually self-employed most of the time, and the finances, the inflow, is not that much consistent. You have got to have some bit of training, some bit of financial knowledge, some bit of financial skills to create that future. Because if you go to, let's say, Swami for now, or if you go to Kokompe, or if you go to Abosokai, most of the mechanics, most of the fitter, what we call fitter or electricians, most of these people, when they are getting to their retirement age, life is different for them. Most of them, at the time that they needed help, at the time that they would need help, that's the time that they cannot even work, because when they are growing, the strength comes down. And most of them did not have any government institution that could have their future in that. So you would have to virtually almost all of us, or all of them, would have to have their own plan and their own structure, their own timetable that they have to follow to secure the financial future. Because every day, every second, every month, every year, we are all growing. And if you're growing, it means that a time will come that the work that you're doing, let's say you're a mechanic, a time will come that you will still leave, but you may not go, you may not be able to go to the workshop. You may not be able to go under the car. And probably the cars that are coming, you may not even understand how those cars are worked on. And so there's a time limit as to the inflows that they come to you, and how the future, the kind of future that you have to create. You have to be aware that that future will come, and you don't have to use your children as your future. That is what most of them look up to. They say that I'm taking care of my children. If nothing at all, they will take care of me. I think that is not a good strategy, because That child is, usually artisans, mechanics, tailors, seamstress, those people, I mean, in Africa, in Ghana, most of them, the school is not that much. So they believe that because they did not go to school, that's why they are doing that kind of job. So there's very few actually are very much happy and really plan to be engaged in such areas. And so there is that lifelong anger or bitterness or pain or struggle with the fact that they could not become a doctor or a lawyer or engineer. That is why they ended up being mechanics or be electrician. Be very few of them would tell you proudly that this is what I wanted to do and this is what I learned and this is what I'm proud and this is what I'm doing. It's more, and most often it's more of a combative reaction towards life, and so they live thinking that they are living the life that they really did not plan, and that maybe the father died when they were young or when they were in school, the parents did not have money, so they send them to go and learn some work, and now they happen to be, that's the skill they have. If you go to any construction field, for instance, how many masons can you ask that this is, did you study this, did you really opt for this kind of life? Usually they will tell you all kind of stories, which means that they think that they are in lower class of society. Yes, their job is physical and seasonal. And if it's physical, it means that it's exhausting and any damage can happen to them. Usually, insurance is not even taken care of. Most often, they work with, subsistent contractors who are not organized. And there are a lot of things. So there are a lot of dangers which we have to look at. But I think that they have to just understand that becoming an artisan and becoming a mason or carpenter or seamstress, it's another form of it's another form of profession that is really needed in any economy, even the so-called developed economy. These things are there. Unfortunate thing is that we are still evolving, we are still organizing it. But if you happen to be 18, 20, 30, 40, and this is the kind of profession that you have yourself in, whether you are a master with apprentice under you or you go to look for work, there's no point living your life regretting that how did I come to this stage. When it comes to finances, when it comes to money, I dare say that it has very little to do with profession. When it comes to societal respect, maybe the not so much organized societies will give so much attention to certain kinds of profession. But anything that you do which is legal, which solves problem, which society needs and you work with, there is no shame. You don't have to be ashamed of the fact that you are seamstress or mechanic, and you don't have to tell people that you got to this stage because your parents were not alive or your parents were poor. It's a work that you do. People pay for it. If you sit down to plan it well, you may end up having a lot of money coming to you than the other ones that you think are advantage. When it comes to money, when it comes to finances, it's not taught in school. So whether your brother or your sister or your cousin ended up becoming an engineer and you ended up becoming a mason, it's not really the case. After 5, 6, 7, 20 years, the difference between you and that person in terms of finances is the knowledge of finance. It's not so much of the fact that he ended up becoming a lawyer and you ended up becoming a mason. Because if you had a good planning, if you had a good knowledge, if you had a good financial foundation, you'll be able to create the life that you want. And you have to understand that because your work is seasonal, as the top, the chief engineer said, and it's physical, you have to be responsible. As a matter of fact, everybody must be responsible for their own finances. But some people at least can fall on some kind of companies who may shield them for a while. So if you're artisan, if you're mechanic, if you're those things that you virtually are, self employed or self contractor or independent contractor, so to say. You go there with your time, you work, they pay you. So you may see they pay you maybe 50 cedis a day, 30 cedis a day. whatever that you do and you get money. The fact is, it has to hit you that this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And my finances, I must manage them, and nobody is going to be responsible for me. So if you're an electrician, that is the work that you do. You do, even if they come seasonally, you do the work, you get paid. When you get the money, you must have a plan. You must have a structure. You must know what you want to save for the future. And you must know when you save it, where you're sending that money. Because your kind of work is, is erratic, so to say. Sometimes you get bulk money, sometimes you have nothing. So if you take a typical carpenter, sometimes he gets a contract for 2 months, he's working, they are paying him. And then sometimes he can stay at home for 4 months, 5 months, and nobody's calling. Now, when you get the seasons where you have money, be responsible of that money. Have a plan. Live within that which is acceptable to you. You must have at least an idea how much you're spending every month. At least you must have an idea, and you should be able to live such that you're able to keep some of that kind of money saved somewhere, not only to eat today, not only to pay the children's school fees, but also for the future, because that future will come. And where you're holding that money for the future is very much important. And don't let anybody tell you that don't worry about the future, God will take care of the future. Planning for the future is different from worrying about the future. You're planning. Your plan is different. When you're planning, it's not worrying. You're planning. You know that a time will come that you will not have that strength. And so any money that comes to you, you must have a plan for it. Unfortunately, a lot of them are the ones that are looking to go through Libya, to go to Italy, to go to America, to go to Europe. And so even if they save money, they're able to save 10,000, they're able to save 20,000 over a work period, or somebody is able to top up the kind of money that they have saved. Instead of them to have a plan to grow and to multiply that money, what we usually do is that I'm going to travel because here is tough for me. So you see that after a while, the money that the person has saved, they go to lose it by giving it to people to help them to travel. The other thing is that some of them will save money. They are in their 30s, they are in their 40s, and they save the money and go and have a very big marriage ceremony, very big wedding. Your future is so critical. Go and have the wedding as you want, but because your work is seasonal and because you're not paid that much, if you save 5,000, don't go and use it in a day thinking that the future will come. No, save something and have a plan. And if something at all, let's say you're an electrician, maybe you can look at opening an electrical shop as well. Support what you're doing, so that in seasons that nobody is calling you, at least you have a shop that is also bringing you some kind of money. If you're a mechanic, you may look at maybe I can sell some tools or some spare parts. If you are, say, seamstress, can you look at maybe opening somewhere that you can sell maybe the clothes that you sell to your people, or sell a lot of, maybe get a way of multiplying the little monies that come to you, because your future will come. And there's no need for you to send your children to top schools that you are paying a lot of money and struggling and putting a lot of financial burden on the family. Because some of them think that the best way to secure the future of their children is to send them to a very good school. And to most of them, very good school means the school that they're speaking good English, speaking French, and paying a lot of school fees. So they go through a lot of pain, a lot of struggles with the little money that is coming. And they think that they're helping their children. I'm not so sure that you should struggle and put your future in jeopardy just because you want your children to get the so-called good schools, especially at the primary level. Any decent, normal school that you are paying school fees within your reach, maybe it will be a good idea, because what you need is for you to have a lot of time with the children, not so much the school that they're speaking English. Because when they go there and the other people's parents are doctors and lawyers, and you are seamstress, you would want to send your child to a school that at least is within the bracket, and pay attention to that child. Give a lot of love and acceptance to that child. Then what is important is that the child is able to read, write, and do a lot of mathematics. And maybe at the secondary level, you may push your child to a good secondary school or something like that. Because what you want to do is to make sure that you are not sacrificing your financial future just because you want to take care of your children. That is lotto you're staking right there. Maybe when you get to the 50s and the 60s and you have nothing saved, your life will be miserable. And that's why you will become pain, because you think that your children that you sweated and you sacrifice everything for, the fact that you sacrifice for them does not mean that they'll be there. When they get to 20s, they're also going to look for somebody to marry. So don't forget that. But nobody is responsible for your financial future. That is a fact. You have to be responsible for your financial for the financial future that you have. You're going to get old. So look at the finances that come in. Look at your expenditure, your expenses every day. Plan for it. A lot of us were not taught how to plan for our future. So every day money comes to us, but we just squander them. We just waste the money. And then before you see it, the last time you were 20 years, now you're 40 years. Now the next minute you're 45. And you have nothing saved. You have nothing conserved anywhere. You have no investment. And majority of us will also go and buy land and keep it for 20 years, 30 years, and we are not able to even build it. And we keep a lot of money in buildings. If you're mason and you're a carpenter, even if you have money to build, why do you want to build 10-bedroom house? Why do you want to build a lot when you know that the money that is coming is not so much? Especially if you don't have if you're not in a situation where you are going to steal or dupe people, because that's the other thing that a lot of them also do. Somebody gives you a project, somebody gives you a contract. You have to be credible and you have to be honest. The fact that you don't have money does not mean that you have to cheat the people who are giving you projects. Because if you're honest with the people that you work with, yours is unplanned. Every day, people would have to call you to give you work before you get revenue. So when you get one project, stay with your character. Be fair. Don't quote the thing is 3 cities. Because the person has just given you some bit of trust, they told you, yeah, take this money, go and buy the material and fix it. The average price of the material is 3 cities on the market. But you think, because usually a lot of them think that the people who they work for or the people who give them projects or something like that are naive. So it's 3 cities. They say that it's 7 cities. And then they take the other. If you do that, even during the time that you're doing the project, the person will still be asking people. They may not tell you, but they know they will not engage you again. And that explains why most of it we are left without job for months, because we are not being straightforward. One of the areas that you can have a lot of leverage above a lot of the other artisans in your category is for you to be honest, for you to go do good work. Just be credible. If you're a carpenter, be credible. If the thing is 2 cities, just say it's 2 cities. I'm charging you 1 city for labor, and stay with it. People will keep on saying your name, be telling people this guy is honest, and every work that you get is a source of income. But if you are cheating and lying and being dishonest, what it means is that you would have to find new people every day, and that will impact your source of revenue. And the other thing is that when people give you project, pay attention, do it and deliver it as promised. Because that way people will start to say that this guy is different. Because the fact is, if anybody deals with plumbers, if you deal with carpenters, masons, tailors, electricians, we all have stories. Okay, we all have stories. They will screw you, they will take the money, and they will give you a lot of promises. They will not come on time, and when they come to, they want to spend 2 hours, they want to go. The mechanic who's working on your car, there is always an issue. So if you decide to be exceptional in your category, it means that there will be a lot of revenue for you, because people will start to introduce you. People will say that this carpenter is good, this seamstress is good, this shoemaker is good, this electrician is good. The electrician is honest and he's on time, he takes his job seriously. That is the best way to secure the future, because when the finances are coming in, when you're getting paid, then you can plan and save something for the future. But if you play and you lie, you cheat, you take people for granted, you talk to people anyhow. When you are working with them, even though they give you a project, they're always looking for somebody else better to work with because they will expect you to take a lot of load from them, not to compound the problems that they have. So they call you to come and do, let's say, a chair for them. Before you came in, they had some kind of peace. They gave you this project and now trouble. They call you, don't pick, and you say that they are worrying you too much. And that is one of the things that I've also seen in this category. The artisans in our country, they don't like stress. They don't like pressure. They want to live life on their own terms. They want to live life comfortably, even if their financial future is in jeopardy. You have to stretch yourself. If you want to have a secure financial future as an artisan, you must be, you should welcome the pressure that people will give you because they give you project. If anybody gives you money to go and work, they will put pressure on you. So accept that and devise plans and ways to get a lot of such pressures, such stress, because it's a good one. Somebody is praying every day to look for contract, for project. Now you have had one and you're playing and you think that you are what? A lot of our people are cocky and a bit proud, and I think it's unfortunate that you should understand the stage and the category that you are in, the kind of profession that you have taken. Even if somebody does not respect you, that's not so much important. What is important is that you have your plan for the future and you're working towards it. And so somebody can call you and say anything they want to say to you, doesn't matter. Have a plan, be professional, train yourself, be prompt, manage the time well, and if anybody pays you, make sure you save some. And you should have a plan. Maybe every month you are working. Every time that you're fully engaged, maybe you are getting 1,000 cedis. The 1,000 cedis, look at maybe saving, 30% or something like that. Say something. And when you have saved them to a certain level, go and look for somewhere that you can put that money in. Or maybe you you start to sell some things to support what you do. All that you can do to get revenue, you must do it. Because nobody will help you, and that will hit you. And that you should not be 70 years for you to see that nobody will help you. If you're 15, if you're 20, you know that when it comes to finances, it's your duty, it's your responsibility, it's nobody's responsibility. Don't go and call your brother and be telling stories. They will give you one, two, but they cannot give the one that can secure your future. The one that will secure your future is your own production, is your own responsibility. So just be certain of that. Maybe the other thing you would want to look at is maybe talk to SNIT. They have their issues, but talk to them and go there and say that I want to be part of your platform. Even if you don't have any company that you're working with, you can still go to them and they can create something for you. You talk to them, they have the people who understand this, and maybe they can give you a figure that you put the money in every now and then. Every now and then you have money, you go there, you pay, which means that when you're old, at least even what SNEP gives is not enough. It will be something that can supplement the one that you plan for. The other thing maybe will be look at national insurance, things like that. Anything that will help you to get extra, leverage in terms of finances, do them. Anything that will help you to get extra finances, do them. And anytime that you want to undertake any capital intensive project, like you want to buy a house or you want to build a house, you want to buy a car, sit down and plan well. Look it according to your standard. You don't have to impress anybody. The only people you have to impress is yourself. You don't so take care of your finances. It is so much critically important, because the artisans, when you see them, I know people who used to be, they had their own fitting shops, and now they are in their 60s, and there's no source of revenue anywhere. They cannot go to work, and they have very few people to support them. You cannot rely on your children. That is off the mark. If they help you, good, but you cannot create a future hoping that your children will be the ones who help you to live. So once you get to 60 and maybe you cannot work that much, do you have a plan? What plan do you have? What is that plan? What are you going to do to secure that future? Maybe you can look at maybe a cocoa farm, maybe mango farm, something like that. Something that you can also do in your future, in your village. Most of us come from somewhere anyway, and almost everybody has some access to some land somewhere. Everybody is a chief in their village. So fine. See, maybe now you're working in Accra, you're working in Takoradi, you're working in maybe Sunya, you're working in Kumasi, you're getting some money. What can you do? Can you do something in the village that can supplement maybe the senate that you're doing, or maybe whatever that you have to do to take care of your future, you should do it and don't leave it in the hands of anybody, because nobody will be there. When you're 60 years, you don't have to be going around begging. If you don't have enough taken care of for your future, when it hits you, that's the time that people's heads start to fail them, which should not be the case. That's the time that people start to lose their spouses. And there are a lot of things that happen as you grow, and you would want to be in a position that at least you would have had enough conserved, invested somewhere, that life will be. Life itself is trouble. So if you add a financial trouble to life trouble, that's double trouble, and it's not good for your health. It's not good for your peace. It's not good for anybody. So if you're an artisan, look at that. Take care of your finances. Have an investment plan. Have a savings plan. And wherever that you work, even if some people also work with companies. The artisans, every now and then they get projects, they get contracts from people, or they work. Some company gets contract, they call you. When they call you, go there, and don't go there and memo, or go there. Don't go there and be talking badly about that company. Be there. Be there. Let them know that if you're there, you're there. And when they have to let everybody go, you be the one that they will keep. If they have to keep one person, work so much that they will keep you. Because anytime that they are keeping you, it means that they are paying you monthly. Anytime that there's a project and they are keeping you, don't be the one that they have to let go the moment the work reduces. It means that you're not a good person to work with. So artisans, just know that people will be calling you. The training that they give to artisans, maybe the NVTIs, maybe the polytechnics even. The management is weak, the financial knowledge is not there, just as in most trainings, most academic trainings. And then they expect you to be subsistent. They expect you to go and start a shop. They expect you to go and start a mechanical workshop. They expect you to, but they only gave you just the technical, a little bit of the technical. How are you going to manage the finances, the people? How are you going to manage the difficult moments? Those ones they didn't add. So most of us, like seamstress, for instance, my cousin went to learn how to sew clothes. When she finished it, she never opened anything. Why? Because there's one thing learning how to sew the clothes, and there's another thing learning how to manage a seamstress or a tailor shop or something like that. It takes more. So majority of you eventually will end up going to look for a place to work, or people will be calling you to give you one or two projects every day, or one or two business every day. Those things, you have to tally them. If they ask you that in the month of July, how many places that you had work, you should be able to know. If let's say you are a seamstress, how many clothes did you sew? You should be able to know. Have data. If you can script. If you can write. If you have to hire somebody to write for you, do. If you have to ask or beg your friend to do it for you, do. Have an idea. How many, the things that they pay you to do, how many you did or you have done or you do in every month. Have an idea. Have a data. So that they can ask you in January, if you're mason and you're independent mason and you just flow, anywhere that there is work, you just go and look for some. In January, how many days did you work? How much did they pay you? And how much did you save? The fact is that most of these guys that we work with, the carpenters, the masons, the welders, the plumbers, the steel benders, a lot of them also drink. Now, I'm not going to tell you not to drink. But if you want to take care of your future, the money is not enough. And then you are drinking to hurt yourself. And the kind of drinks they buy are the high spirited ones. It's not good for you. It is not good for you. No matter the pressure of life, reduce those things. Be responsible. Don't go around. They pay you later, and then you are drinking, and yet you have no future plan. You have nowhere secure. Most you call any mechanic, you call any mason. The few of them who are taking care of the future are people who have come into contact with people maybe who gave them some kind of advice. Yet that future will come. That future will come. So take care of your finances. Have a system, have a plan, have a book. Buy an exercise book. You should be able to know in February how many works that you did. In March, how many you did. In February, how many you did. And the people who call you for works, do they call you back? And if they don't call you back, go ask them why they didn't call you back. Is it because of the way you talked? Is it because you were not honest? Is it because you did bad work? Go ask them. Most of us may not be able to build business around that, but maybe we will just work with the skill, with the technical, with the hands that we have. Maybe we may not be able to build any company for ourselves. Maybe we may not be able to even build a shop. But every now and then somebody will be calling you. Every now and then somebody will be calling you. Are you in a position, or are you positioning yourself where somebody else will be saying that this guy is a good guy and they'll be calling every day? Because if they're bad network, okay, I didn't know. So if they are not calling you, hopefully, let's say it work. If they are not calling you, it means that you're not doing good work. So look at the work that you do and look at the recommendations that you're getting, and make sure that you link them to your future. Because if nobody is calling you, it means that your future, the savings, the finances are not going to be in good shape. They're not going to be in good shape. They're not going to be in good shape. So work on that. And the other thing is that resolve and tell yourself that nobody is responsible for my financial future. Myself, I am responsible. The earlier you advise yourself that way, the better, so that you don't live in false hope. Your financial future, when you are 50, when you are 60, when you are 70, it will not be somebody, it will be you. So plan for that future. If you're mason, if you're seamstress, if you're carpenter, money will by all means come to you. They may not be much, but they will be coming. Save something. Every month, even if it's 10 cedis that you're saving, save. And give yourself a target. In 2018, I want to save maybe 500 Ghana cedis. And when you have that 500, have a plan. What are you going to use it for? Don't chop it. Don't eat it. Don't go and use it for naming ceremony. Don't go and use it for funeral. Don't go and use it for all the other things that people use money. Because we waste a lot of money. You know, you go to your village every week for funeral and you have nothing saved for your future. It's dangerous because that future will come. So all the funerals that you're going every week, maybe you would have to reduce them. Or the party that you're going every day, every weekend you are at some joint somewhere, or you are going to watch Kotoko and Has, and you are traveling everywhere, and you're 40 years, and you have nothing saved. It's not good. It means that you are not conscious of the future. So maybe you may have to reduce a lot of those things, and you start to have a plan that I want to save something for my future. If nothing at all, treasure bills is there. May not be the best plan, but at least it's better than zero. It is better than zero. So let's say you have 2,000 saved with treasure bills. It's not bad. There's always a place to start. So you start like that. Maybe you have 200 Ghana cedis saved with them. Do something. Because for you to live your future for anybody to handle is dangerous. Even if you have a good company to work with, when you take the salary, save some. Save some. Have a plan. Have a plan. Have a plan. You see, somebody may be paid 5,000 a month, but that person may be, the house may be on mortgage, the car may be loan, the children may be going to British International School. Every 3 months they want to travel to America. Now you may be getting maybe 1,000 a month, And when you compare yourself to that person, you think that that person is better. Not necessarily so. It's not necessarily. It depends on your decisions of the money that is coming to you. And the other thing that you have to know is that you are not in competition with your financial future with anybody. It is your future, not somebody else's future. So have a plan. Even if you want to do any project for yourself, have a plan. You may want to buy a car, but have a plan. Don't forget that future. And everything that you can do or anything that you can do to add value to that future, do it. Anything that can bring you extra revenue to be saved towards that future, do it. And never leave that future in anybody's hands. Don't leave it to superstition. Don't leave it to anybody. Leave it in your hands. Plan for it. It is your future. It's nobody's. In some countries, people always planning for their retirement. In some countries, people are always thinking of what I'm going to do. You know that if you stop work and you can't work, and let's say 60 years, and maybe you happen to live another 20 years, how much would you need saved? Have you thought of that? Or you'll be hoping that your uncle's son will be a president or a politician so that they can send you something, or your child will become something. That's not a good plan. At least those should be second plan, not the first one. The first one is you. And so let's say you are living on 200 Ghana cedis every month, which means that for the year, and it's so difficult for you to live on 200 Ghana cedis if you're old. No, it's not possible. So maybe you're living on, let's say, 1,000 Ghana cedis every month. If you retire at 60 or 65 or something like that, and you happen to live 20 more years, and you happen not to do anything, and let's assume that your health is even good, it means that you are going to need how much? 1,000 for a year is 12,000. If you multiply by 20, that's a lot of money. Even if it's 10 years that you live, that is 120,000. Do you think that you have planned enough for that future? Or you're hoping? And that house that you have built, that house that you have built, what you think is an investment is not. If you're able to build 2-bedroom house, when you can't go to the shop again, when you can't work at the workshop again, when you cannot go and sew for people again, what source of revenue would you have? That house is not part of, because that house you're living there, you're not renting. If anything, that house will be taking money from you. The electricity will go off, the paint will peel off, the roof, you have to change it. There will be something that will get spoiled in that house. So don't call that house and you are telling people that you have built a house and it's an investment. It's not investment for nowhere. It's going to take money from you, and it will not help you in your retirement. Yes, you may not be renting, but the kind of money you have put in that house is not going to come back like that. So when you need 1,000 and nothing is saved, let's say that the 1,000 that you would need, maybe if you were diligent with your SNET plan, maybe SNET will be giving you maybe 300 every month. Maybe, I don't know. If you had other plans, the 700, you could get it. So that the moment you stop working, you don't become poor. You don't become miserable. You don't become dejected. You don't become that. Because then you plan for it. You plan for it. And it has nothing to do with the school. Don't tell us that, because there are people who have gone to school, PhD, people who have gone to Legon to teach. And when they go on retirement, it's different ballgame for them. There are politicians who are no more in politics, and to live every month is difficult. They have to call their children. There was no plan. There are teachers who go on retirement and life is miserable. There are doctors who go on retirement and things become very difficult. There are police officers who go on retirement and it's crazy, because nobody is responsible for that future for you. We all have to plan it. And so if you're an artisan, mason, carpenter, that future will come. So you have to plan it. And planning it means that you have a plan for that future. And you must have some few. The African mentality place is to lay my head first. That's a bad strategy. That's why we have a lot of uncompleted structures, black. A lot of uncompleted buildings all over. with a lot of capital locked forever. Because the financial knowledge for most of us was the one that was based on poverty. It was not based on winning. You cannot win financially by playing defense. So most of those things are just defensive financial plan. They don't want to they don't want to win. They are just playing that they will not lose. And not losing does not mean you're winning. There's a difference. Somebody is not losing, but they are not going anywhere. Play offensive. Even if they score you, you tried. So your mason, your carpenter, don't let that future elude you, and plan for it. And the things that will take money from you, you know them. You know them, the children's school fees, the marriage will take, the rent or the house will take, the car that you want to buy will take. So you have a plan. You should have a strategy. You should have at least a certain amount of money that you spend. Knowledge, they say, is power. So go for knowledge, study. And majority of us, when we are studying, even we only study about the things that we do. So I'm a seamstress. Anytime that I'm going for training, I'm just going to look at the plan to sew better. Very few of them will go for a plan to get better in terms of financial knowledge and financial planning and financial future. And that is why the financial knowledge that most artisans play with, they are the ones that will never make them win. So go and look around your area. Look at the mechanic. Ejako, he was repairing cars everywhere the last 20 years. And now Ejako cannot go to the workshop, and if you look at him, he's very poor. Look at the tailor. Now that the tailor is in retirement, there's nothing anywhere coming from nobody. Go and look at the seamstress. Go and look at, you all know them. You know them, and I know them. It's not because life is tough, which it is, but at least it's because they also did not have clue as to what to do to plan for their financial future. And most of them thought that it will not come. Or most of them thought that their children will be there for them. Most of them thought that, if I say this, I'll be in trouble. Most of them thought that God will be there for them. God gave us wisdom. So plan for that. Use that wisdom to plan for. Yes. The application of the knowledge that you have. I agree, but the knowledge that you don't know has some power over you. The one that you don't know has power too. At least I think that there's an enlightenment that comes when you hear something. It blows off something from your mind, from your head, and then you start to look at how you can apply it. Because you all have some kind of misunderstanding or some kind of misconception on the things that somebody told us. Okay, so if you hear the other one, at that point, it lights up something in your mind. I think that is the power they talk about. If you had money in the bank and you didn't, let's say people who buy shares and they send you share, the certificate that they say. If you don't know it, if you didn't know it and you use it anyhow, if somebody comes to tell you that this is something that you can go here to take money, that itself liberates you. It's power. It gets you to say, then I made a mistake. So it's not, yes, the application is that which brings the results, but if you're a slave, if let's say you are poor somewhere and you got to find out that your father was the Asantehene, that knowledge, even though you have not gone to see him, will make you feel powerful. And so there are stages. There are practical kind of knowledge that is the ultimate, I think. But there are knowledge that you hear, start to light something in you. That is the power. So yes, the more powerful one is the one that you have applied. So the mechanic, the mason, the seamstress, they must know that they have to take care of their finances. They have to take care of their financial future, and they have to plan. They have to do something. anyway, anyhow. Just like the farmer, because the retirement will come, and don't use your children as a retirement plan, because these children are growing up with different information. You're telling them the culture, they will not buy it. You're teaching them every time you go to see you go to their hometown, and whenever they ask you, the council to say those things. If you fail, they want to teach you. Every time they are teaching us, and we continue to fail on those things because we are not willing to learn them. They are passionate about them, but we are not. So the same with your children. The things that you are passionate about, they may not be that passionate about. They may grow up with different kind of information. So don't hope that they will be there for you. Do your duty as a parent, but take care of your finances, take care of your future. Nobody is responsible for it. And the fact that you're mason, you're carpenter, does not mean that you are lower than the guy who's an engineer or the guy who's a doctor or a lawyer. Different kinds, different categories, different professions. You may think that they are better. They are not necessarily better. And you don't need to even think like that, because there's a need that you're also providing. You're solving problem of society. The earlier you accept that profession, and you start to see the avenues and the opportunities that you can create in that profession, the better for you. And don't continue to blame yourself that I became a mason because my father was not there. Nobody took care of me. That's why I became this. No, no, no. You don't need to. You don't need to, because when it comes to money, nobody teaches it anywhere in any school. So we are all trying to find out ourselves everywhere, every time. We are all trying to find out ourselves. Okay, and the fortunate ones will find them and apply them. But the first of it is that nobody is responsible for that financial future. You are responsible. And your work, every time somebody will call you, your electrician, they will call you. Somebody will get a project and call you. When they call you and you start to receive money, have a plan and save some towards the future. And don't give fake invoices or loop up invoices. Don't learn to do shoddy work. If they call you 2 a.m., pick the call. If it's about work, if you have to go 3 a.m., go. Let people know that you're serious with your work. Every time you get work. And every time that you get work, it means that you're getting revenue. Because you cannot save the revenue that is not coming. That's the reality. You cannot keep that which is not coming. So it means that the work that is bringing the job, the money, you have to hold it. You have to do it well. You have to become professional. You have to be serious. If anybody gives you an opportunity somewhere, if anybody opens their door for you, don't play with it. And this cheating and lying everywhere, stay out of it. Because then you get to meet people who are of standard. And that's why every time you see that you have work, every time you have revenue, and if you have a good plan, you'll be able to save a lot of that which comes to you. Because you cannot stand in the sun like that. If you see masons, they are in the sun every day. Sun, they are carrying mortar, they are moving where it's stressful. Let's face it. Even though that is the work that you learn, it's a difficult job. No joke about it. That's why you cannot waste that which comes to you. It is tough. For you to be a carpenter and you are holding the hammer and pipe. It's not easy. If you are a seamstress, you know it. If you bake bread, you are with the heat every time. But these works are difficult. Let's face it, it's physical. And so once the money is coming, save it, because you cannot do it when you're old. Not as you are doing it when you're young. You can't. So have a plan. When the other people who can just sign signature are fooling, we should know that maybe even if when they are old, they can sign signature, I don't know. But we cannot carry the blocks when we are assisted. Nobody will even call you. So you must have a plan. You must have a plan. And go to SNET to go and ask them. You have no company that you're working with, but every now and then somebody will call you for a job. Can you give them 10 CDs every month, 2 CDs every month, 3 CDs every month? Ask them what is comfortable. They have to do something and they have to have a plan for such people, and I think they do. So when you go there and you ask them, maybe it will be one of, because they invest the money and they say that when you are old, they will help you. That's what they say. So at least go and hear what they say and use it as part of your financial plan. And if you can, put some money in any cash crop or something like that, do it. Anything that you can do to make 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 20,000 a month when you're old, after you're 60, 70, without you being physically present. That's what we are planning to do. So plan it, because the society may not have a plan for that in the future. I don't know, because we meet people like that and there's nobody to help them. And every day they are calling somebody to send them money somewhere. Every day. Every day. And this society said that even if you don't have money at that stage, they'll still be calling you to come for funeral. That's what I don't get. They'll still be calling you to come for this, to come for this. And the people don't have money. And there is a lot of burden on them. And usually, I think that's why they die that quickly. Because there's so much burden. And if you don't have money, every day when you get up, that's the thing that you're thinking about. That's the thing that you're thinking about. If you don't have money, when you get up in the morning, it's money that you're thinking about. And that creates enough hormonal changes in you that may trigger a lot of, stress and a lot of uncomfortable situation for you. And you don't want your health to deteriorate that much, because when it goes, you have nobody to help you. So your future, your financial future is yours. That's a fact. It's yours. It's nobody's. So your carpenter, your mason, your technician, your caterer, whatever that you do, that they call artisans, you do beads, jewelry, have a plan. Have a plan. But never joke with that craft that you have. Become exceptional. Everywhere you go, have solid character that people will, because majority of them don't have that. So once you get that and you push yourself to that category, every time somebody's calling you. And once you're getting calls, you're getting jobs, you're getting every time somebody's calling, it means that the revenue is coming like that. Tally that which is coming in, and tally, write that which you're spending, and live within a category that you can save money. And don't compete and compare yourself with anybody. Enjoy your life. And your children, look at the school you send them to, they should not burden you. Look at, if you want to buy a car, buy the one that you think can help you to save money. If you want to build a house, have a plan. There are things that you just have to plan. And if you are cheating and taking people's money, there's no need to do that. Stop those. Build your future, because it's important that future will come. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.